everybody, and welcome back to my page. My name is Mira, and this is Mira the Mage. And let's get into it. I don't know at all what this reading is going to be about because I just felt like I needed to pull on the energy. Yeah, so let's get to it. Let's see what we are talking about here and just how this energy is going to unfold for us. Hold up, let's get some, We'll get some tarot first, and then we'll go into some oracle when we finally get a grasp on what we're talking about here. There's like this anxious energy, but it feels more mental. It feels more mental than physical. Okay, usually when I'm feeling anxious energy within a reading, or I'm getting like the read of anxious energy, I'll feel it in my body. I'll need to keep on taking really deep breaths, which I am doing right now. But I feel like that's me and my personal energy, not the energy of the reading right now. But really it feels mental. It feels like mind running type of energy, mind racing type of energy. And I'm hearing like rolling, and I heard running. I don't know why. I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. What does the collective need to know right now? We have the Lovers and the Ace of Wands. Some sort of choice about a new start here. Five of Wands in the reverse. Wanting to do things a little bit differently. Wanting to call off prior engagements. I feel like you guys are reinventing yourself. You're becoming a person that you never thought that you would be. A person that you never thought was possible. Maybe you're letting go of certain things that you never thought you would be able to let go of. Maybe you're releasing patterns that you never thought that you would have to release. This is like, I always thought that I was this type of person, but I'm actually not, right? I always thought that I was this type of person, but after doing this and this and that and going through this and this and that, I realized that I'm not this type of person. Or I always thought this relationship, this job, this situation was something that would be long lasting, or not something that I would never get over, something that I would always want. And it's not anymore. It sort of reminds me, if you guys watch Grey's Anatomy, I'm on season 7, so I don't know exactly how this plays out, but throughout Grey's Anatomy, one of the main characters, Christina, she is such an amazing surgeon. Like, of course she starts off as an intern and everything, but she is such an amazing surgeon, and all Christina ever thinks about is surgery, and all she ever thinks about is her job. All she ever does and wants to do is surgery, you know? She even prioritizes surgery over her happiness and her I don't want to say her happiness, because surgery brings her a lot of happiness. Her job brings her a lot of happiness, but she prioritizes surgery over family. She prioritizes surgery over friends even. She prioritizes surgery over relationships. She prioritizes surgery over everything. And there gets to be a point, and I won't spoil it for you guys, where a lot of shit happens. And she just progressively, like, I don't want to say progressively because it sort of happens in like a snap, but she sort of loses her spark for it. It's not that she can't be an amazing surgeon, because she still has the capability. She never lost her capability or her competence. She's still an amazing surgeon. However, she loses her taste for it. Something happens and it really makes her realize, like, I've built my whole life around surgery, but I think I can love myself without it, right? Because she asked her boyfriend, and this is what she's really contemplating. She was like, would you still love me if I wasn't a surgeon? And he says, I would love you if you were a plumber. But the thing is, would you love yourself if you were a plumber? Or would you love yourself if you weren't a surgeon? And so then she comes up and she basically says later on, like, yeah, I do think I would love myself if it wasn't for this. So if you've watched the show, if you haven't, just take my word for it. But if you've watched the show, you know how big of a deal it is for Christina, of all characters, to give up surgery, to give up being a surgeon, which she ultimately does, at least at the point that I'm in right now. And it's like, she literally made surgery. She literally made her job her whole personality almost. And then she has to reinvent herself without it. And it's not that she has to, it's that she can, because now she's recognizing that there's something that happens, and it causes her to recognize that there are other more important things, right? And yeah, a lot of it is trauma, but her trauma, the traumatic thing that she goes through, helps her realize that she doesn't need the surgery to feel complete, right? And so there's like this energy of, there was something that maybe you based a lot of your happiness around. Maybe you based your personality around. Maybe there's something that you really defined yourself with that is sort of falling away. And if I would have told you this before, last year, last month, last week, at another time, you would have been like, no, 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 no. And it would have been the anxious energy of, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that, because if I lose that, I lose me. And I don't know what to do after losing that, or if I were to lose that. But there's this energy of now saying, you know what? It isn't for me, and there's no hard feelings about this relationship, this job, this even this pattern of behavior, this way of being. There's no hard feelings. It's just not for me anymore. It's just not something that lights me up anymore. And if it is something that still lights me up, it's something that I recognize I can live without. And it's not like I can live without it, but I'm upset about it. It's I can live without it, and I'm learning to actually love myself without it. I'm learning to actually see myself without it. Whereas before I over-identified with it. Now I'm sort of seeing that, you know, that over-identification with it was stemming from something else entirely. It was never stemming from the feelings, or, you know, it was never stemming from this being my authentic truth. It was stemming from something other than that. And I'm not going to be specific in those regards, because it's going to be different for each of you. The thing that, you know, yeah, it's going to be different for each of you. But it's like, now you're realizing like that you're not all just that relationship. You're not all just that pattern of behavior. You're not all just that job, right? You're not just an angry person. You went through some shit that made you really angry, and it was really hard to get out of that, right? But you no longer have to identify with being an angry person anymore, because now you're learning, and now you're recognizing that you can be different, because this was never you to begin with. This was never you from the start. It was just there to teach you, right? That relationship was never the end all be all. You were never going to die without that relationship. You were never going to be old and lonely if this person left you. You know, you were never going to do that. It was never going to happen. It's just, it felt that way because we were over-identifying with it before. And the reason why we were over-identifying with this job, this way of being, this behavior, that whatever this is, this relationship, whatever, the reason why you were over-identifying with it is because there was something about it that felt sort of familiar, but it also brought up different, it was safe. It was safe. And for a lot of you, it might not have felt safe. This could have been a relationship that was really difficult, but in some way it felt safe. It felt comfortable. You were comfortable with people treating you like this. You were comfortable with expressing yourself this way. You were comfortable within the confines of this job, this whatever it is. You were comfortable there. And it had to get to the point where you were uncomfortable in order for you to recognize that the reason why you were over-identifying yourself with this was not at all because this is who you are or this is what is meant for you. It was something else. It was something that you felt like you were lacking, something that you felt like you needed, that whatever this was, whatever this thing that we're talking about is, it brought that to you. But it was superficial. It wasn't something serious. It wasn't, and I don't want to say that it wasn't a serious thing within your life. What I mean is, whatever fulfillment this thing brought to you, I don't want to say it was all superficial, but I do want to say that you could get it in other ways that feel better, other ways that do better for you, other ways that are healthier for you, that align more with your authentic self and your authentic expression. And you guys are learning to express yourself and be more authentic, and I love that for you guys. There's this energy of, I'm no longer going to fight for something. I'm no longer going to fight for something. Like, they put down, well, I don't want to say they put down their staffs because they're still holding them, but they ceased fire, right? They're not fighting each other anymore. Normally in the Five of Wands, here, let me find it. Where's the other deck? Let me see if it has the same depiction in this deck. But usually in the Five of Wands, they're fighting, or they're about to go into battle. They're definitely taking defensive, like they're all at each other's necks, right? And in this Five of Wands right here, they're no longer doing that. They are coming to some sort of place where they can do differently, right? Where they feel comfortable doing differently. Where is it? I don't know. And I don't really think it's the same depiction in this deck either, because this is the Mermaid Tarot, not the Rider-Waite. So yeah. But the Five of Wands always, to me, depicts some sort of struggle, battle, right? And this is like a letting go of that. This is like, I don't need to fight for it. And why am I fighting for something that wasn't giving me what I needed? Why am I fighting for something that that wasn't really mine, right? Wasn't really mine. Look at that. Like, now you're recognizing yourself. Now you know who you are underneath of all that conditioning and programming. And I heard bullying for some of you. Nine of Cups. Excuse me, back of the deck we have the Devil card. What's behind that? Yeah, the Hanged Man, the Ace of Swords. Whatever this was holding you back, and now that you've really stopped and took a good look at that, or maybe you were forced to stop or take a pause, that pause, whether voluntary or not, it helped you look at things from a different perspective, and it helped enlighten your perspective. It helped you to see things in a way that you would have never allowed yourself to see them before. I don't feel like you were blinded to the truth of your authentic, of your authentic expression, or whatever was right for you. I don't think you were blinded for it. I think you just didn't want to hear it, or maybe it was just hard to accept. And now that you've accepted it, you're like, okay, I can do this. It's actually where before, accepting this truth, or coming into the acceptance of this truth, would have made you feel it would have made you feel difficult. It would have brought up a lot of difficult feelings to cope with. It would have been really hard to accept it. Now it might have been hard to accept it, but you're like, I actually kind of like this space. I actually kind of like this. It doesn't feel like a restriction anymore. Whereas before, if you would have come to this realization, it would have felt like a restriction. It would have felt like something bad. It would have felt negative. And it doesn't feel negative now. It feels positive. It feels like I can do this. It feels like I will do this, right? It feels like this is for me. This isn't happening to me. This is happening for me. This is going the way that I wanted it to go, even though it didn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen. I'm recognizing now that standing in my power and leaving behind whatever this is doing me more good than I thought it would. More good than keeping it, What is this Five of Pentacles in this? Yeah, you had to sort of be forced out of the comfortable zone, of the comfortability zone, in order to have this stable foundation that brings you love and happiness. You had to go into yourself in order to change things. Look, there's that Seven of Wands, and at sometimes you might still find it a little hard to not to grasp. Sometimes it might still feel hard emotionally, but intuitively, and you've known intuitively the whole time what was for and not for you. Where you were blinded for a reason, but you were never fully blinded. Like, it's like I'm seeing like a veil over your head, but the veil is sheer. Like it might, you know, like looking out of, like, look through this ball. You can still see the cards looking through this ball, but they're upside down and they're blurry. It's not clear. Like, yeah, before you could definitely have seen what I'm telling you right now, but it didn't feel as clear. It wasn't as clear because it wasn't supposed to be, because you still had lessons to learn. And now you've learned those lessons, and emotionally it can be difficult to deal with sometimes when you get into certain areas. But I feel like you always end up coming back into this place of acceptance and understanding that, you know, it is what it is. And honestly, I know, and I'm not just forcing myself to know that it's for the better. I'm not just forcing myself to feel or to think or to say positive things. I'm just actually feeling those positive things. I actually feel that, you know, this is the right choice, or I actually feel like, you know, this is the right path for me, and I didn't need this thing. I didn't need whatever it was that I was honing my attention into so heavily. I don't need it anymore. It's not necessary. Yeah. And now you're working on building something better for yourself, something more stable, something more real. Look, we have the Hierophant, that the sun wants to come out, and this Six of Wands keeps on coming out. This is like victory. You're building to your victory. This realization, or whatever this was, this is what's bringing your success. Look, the Hierophant, the Emperor, like the Hierophant, Emperor, Page of Pentacles, Eight of Wands. Whatever you've been manifesting is coming in very, very soon, because of your ability to sort of grasp this energy. Whatever you've been manifesting, I feel like the big manifestations that you're talking about, you've been manifesting for quite a while. For some of you, years or decades. And it's like you're about to get that. It's right around the corner. It's like right here, right in front of your face. I don't want to say you just need to believe it, but I feel like you just need to get on the right side of it. And I don't understand what they mean by get on the right side of it. Can we talk about that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Understanding that it is available to you. Recognizing, really accepting that it is available to you. For example, there's this one thing that I want. And every time I would think about getting it, I'd be like, yeah, you know I know I deserve this. This, you know, this would be something that's really, really good for me. It would be good for my family. It's something that would really work out. And then when I really started thinking about it, I started thinking about who could benefit more from it. Or I started thinking about, oh, well, you know, this person would want that, or that person would want that, or maybe it's better for this person to have it. And then I started really thinking, like, with the way that I'm saying that I deserve it, and then saying that it would be so much better for other people, or, you know, maybe it's just right if another person gets it, or if somebody else gets it, or if, you know, it didn't go to me. That, for me personally, struck me as, I don't feel I deserve it the way that I should feel I deserve it. I still have issues believing that I deserve what this is. And I deserve, you know, this opportunity over another person. And it's not being selfish to say you deserve it over another person. It's understanding your worth. And that was me having a little bit more trouble really thinking about my worth as it is. Because if I truly believed so 100% that I was worth it, and that it was for me, and that it was, you know, and that I deserved it, I wouldn't have been second guessing, and I wouldn't have been doubting, and I wouldn't have been questioning, you know? So it wasn't that I don't deserve it, it's that I didn't believe that I deserved it as much as I thought I did, you know? Right? What are we talking about here? And this is sort of like set your sights on what you want and work for it. I'm hearing closed mouths don't get fed, as well as patience. Things take time. Things do take time, but hold on to the vision. Hold on to the vision. Please hold on to the vision. Don't give up. Look, chop wood. Yeah, and this is all happening because you chose to let something go. Because you chose to say, you know what, this isn't working for me anymore. This is not happening. I don't want this anymore, you know? And we have a 6, which is a 42, coming out over a 6, the Lovers. Time for a nap. So look, we have 42, 24. You guys might be seeing like mirroring numbers like that. 4224, 1223. I'm sorry, 1221, but maybe 1223, excuse me. And Spirit is saying you need to rest. Take time enjoying the life that you have. Take time enjoying the instances that you have. Please stay in the present moment, because that staying in and enjoying and loving the present moment is what's going to be what makes this come to you faster. You know, don't rush it, because it's coming. It's there. It's there. It's not coming. It's there. You just need to clean up what makes you think that you can't, or that it won't, you know. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been working with that sort of believing that you deserve it, believing that you're worth it, believing that you can have it. I feel like you guys have been working with that type of mindset for a long time, because it doesn't feel like there's a lot. Like, if we're thinking about it, like, before, when I would read on this energy for the collective, it felt very dense. It doesn't feel as dense anymore. It feels a lot lighter. It's sort of like when you're going into like a I don't know, like a closet that like you never really clean, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff, or like an attic or something like that, and you go up there and it's so dusty and it's filled to the brim with cobwebs and spider webs and da-da-da-da-da. Right? And before, that's what it felt like. Now it feels like we're going into that attic, and the only thing that we need to do is dust a little bit, just because there's just a little bit of remnants in the corners. It's not all over like it used to be before. It's not infested with those cobwebs or those spiders. It's just a little, you know, it's just a little sprinkle, just a little dust. That's it. That's sort of what it feels like yeah, chaos and conflict. The chaos and conflict made you look what I've been saying this whole fucking time. We're seeing a zebra right here with the markings of a giraffe. That zebra was never a giraffe. It just made itself look like that. It was surrounded by giraffes and taught by giraffes and raised by giraffes, and it was friends with giraffes, so it thought that it had to be a giraffe. And now it's recognizing through the chaos and the conflict and everything not working out for them. It's recognizing, oh, well, the reason why I can't reach the trees and eat like my giraffe friends, the reason why I can't, you know, do this or do that like a giraffe is because I'm not a giraffe. I was never a giraffe. I was never meant to be a giraffe. And I was treating myself like a giraffe. And that's why I wasn't getting what I needed to get. That's why the outcome wasn't coming the way I needed it to come. That's why I was sitting here waiting on something that wasn't happening, because I was treating myself like a giraffe, because I was making choices from a giraffe's perspective when I'm not a giraffe. I'm a zebra, you know? And now you're making choices like a zebra because you're a zebra, you know? I'm not making choices like anybody else. I'm now making choices the way that God intended me to make them, the way that my soul, the universe intended me to make them, as myself, as my authentic self, as being an authentic expression of me. I'm no longer them. I am now me. And a lot of what you picked up, a lot of what you used to identify before was probably picked up from relationships and connections and parents and guardians and friends and family throughout the years. And it's like, look, on the back of the deck, it wasn't for you. You were recognizing that that's just not me, you know? You're trying to get me to be a part of this chess game when I'm not even fucking, it's just not me. It's just, no, I don't move like that. I don't breathe like that. I don't operate like that. It's not me. I don't fit in those confines. I'm no longer trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. I refuse to continue to try and stick a square peg into a round hole anymore. Yeah, because that was getting me nowhere. I did it over and over, countlessly. I did it so much to where I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. Now I'm recognizing that, like, that was never me. The choices that I was making and the energy I was feeling and what I was doing, it was never me. It was never me. I was trying to be you. I was trying to go by the book when it just wasn't for me. When it just wasn't me. And that's why I felt so wrong. That's why, look when I said why. That's why I felt so wrong. That's why it felt so bad. Because I kept on asking myself why. I kept on asking the universe, why isn't this coming? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this person being the way that I want them to be? Why isn't this money flowing to me the way that I want to? Why isn't this job going the way that I want to? Why do all my connections go the way that they go? And it's because you were acting from someone else's perspective. Maybe everybody around you were making those same exact choices, same exact steps in the same exact direction. It was working for them. But it wasn't working for you. And now you're starting to recognize that the reason it wasn't working for you is because it was never meant to. Because you were never meant to follow that path or make those decisions or go in that direction. Because there was a different direction for you. There was a different path with different decisions and a different direction and a different outcome that's actually a lot better than what you thought. Maybe what you thought you wanted wasn't actually truthfully what you wanted. It's just what you thought you could have or what other people wanted for you. Right? And on the back of the deck, before I just shuffled this, I shuffled it like a dummy, but on the back of the deck, it was the higher power card. I don't know where it went. It's somewhere in here. But yeah, it's like now you've connected to yourself, you've connected to that higher power, and you're starting to recognize and believe, like, this just wasn't for me. Look, a change in the wind. Now there's that zebra again. And now look at the beautiful stable structure. And it's like, yeah, the structure is stable, but the animal's not stable. The animal's going to keep on moving, keep on going forward, keep on running, 27. I also saw 23 before, a lot of mirroring numbers. But yeah, it's like that structure is stable. Now what you're building is stable, and like, you can move and you can be free and you can be flexible and you can be you, ever changing, and it'll still be there for you. Because that's what it's for you. It's for you. Look, Treasure Island and Serendipity. Beautiful. Look, and then Treasure Island wants to come out again. Look, the tribe. And there's that giraffe that I was talking about, that we were talking about before. And if your tribe isn't happy with you making these decisions, or at least they don't have to understand. They don't have to understand. They just have to support. Right? And if your tribe can't get past their own selfish wants for your life, then maybe it's time to accumulate a new tribe. Right? Maybe it's time to look to the sea. Maybe it's time to venture out. Because you're being honest with yourself. You're taking off that mask. And that might be really difficult for other people. There might be people that you have to leave behind, but this deep knowing within you is not going to allow you to leave yourself behind anymore. Now you're okay. Maybe not okay, but now you'll survive. Now you feel like you'll survive releasing who you need to release and releasing the things that you need to release. Whereas before it would have felt like, oh, I know I need to make these decisions for myself, but if I lose this person or this connection, it's just I just don't know if I could deal with it. And now it's like, I guess I'll have to. Because I refuse to lose me. I'd rather lose the whole world than lose me. Wondrous universe, walk in beauty. And then we have rainbow blessings. Blessings are showering your life. Back of the deck, release control. That's a beautiful reading. So all you need to do is release control. Allow yourself to keep on making authentic steps forward. Don't think about the next step next week and the step next month or the step next year. Stop over planning, pre-planning. Release the control of things needing to go the way that you think that they need to go. Recognize that God, the universe, your higher self, your soul knows what's best for you, and continue to walk towards your happiness, towards, with grace, poise, and beauty. And you're about to walk in to amazing blessings. But that is what I have for you. I'm so proud of you guys for making the changes that you've made and becoming, not even becoming, but re-becoming this beautiful version of yourself that we see here displayed today. It's just amazing. I haven't felt so energized doing a reading in a very long time, and I honestly appreciate you guys for that. I hope you have a great night. Like, comment, and subscribe if this resonated for you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.